Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Moaning Show. This is episode 28 and in this edition I'm going to have a really good moan. I'm going to really enjoy myself. Going to have a real good moan at Sir Alex Ferguson and Manchester United. Now, it's no secret that Manchester United are quite possibly the most famous sports team in the world. There isn't a place you can go now where someone isn't wearing a Manchester United shirt. I mean, obviously the poorest of the poor countries and poorest of the poor parts of those countries, you won't see a Man United shirt, but you will see Man United shirts all over the place. All apart from places in Manchester, it seems to me. Their rivals, Manchester City, are pure, I would say pure Mancunian, which is the term for people who live in Manchester. And the people that live in Manchester, or have lived in Manchester, support Manchester City. They're big rivals. More often than not, they win the league. More often than not, they get all of the sort of 50-50 referee decisions, but I'll come back to that at another stage in the video. Their fame, and let's be honest about it, their fortune as well, is all down to their global recognition. As I say, there's not a lot of places in the world where someone doesn't know who Manchester United is, or doesn't know the club emblem, which has changed in the last 10-12 years. One of the things, and I'll say one of the things right now, one of the things I hate about Manchester United is the so-called arrogance of the team, or the players of the team, the club in general. You get the impression that because they've been champions so many times, league champions so many times, and they've won the Champions League twice since its inception, you get the impression that they have a better than you attitude. Now, in terms of footballing achievements, they are quickly becoming the best team of all time. But in terms of personal feelings from, say, players to blah 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 blah, I get the impression that they still have this cockier than you attitude, and it's not right. You cannot go around, proclaiming you're the best, and you get beaten by teams that shouldn't be beating you, things like that. But what I'm trying to get at is the fact that, I mean, okay, all footballers these days are prima donnas that are paid way too much for what they do. I mean, let's face it, for 180 minutes a week, if that, you're kicking a ball around a large piece of grass, and these guys get inwards of 100,000 plus per week, and if you play for Manchester United, you're bound to get more. They are the biggest club in the UK. They are one of the biggest clubs in Europe, but I wonder if they would be one of the biggest clubs in Europe if it wasn't for their global branding empire. You can get all sorts of things with Manchester United branding on it. You can get baseball caps, you can get televisions, you can get shirts, t-shirts, coats, scarves, hats. You can get sort of like sprays, body sprays, things like that. you can get duvet covers, you can get toasters, you can get basically, you name it, there's a Man United thing tied into it. So in other words, this remote control, on the back of it could be a Man United club insignia, club badge on it. I don't blame the company Manchester United, or the business Manchester United, because they have opened the door, so to speak, for other clubs to follow, for other sporting brands to follow. They're sort of like the American version, if you're watching this in America, of the New York Yankees. Loved by their fans, but basically despised the rest of the league or rest of the country over. But like I say, you cannot blame Manchester United, the company, for getting the rights to the Manchester United duvet cover or the Manchester United pillowcase or Manchester United beach towel. You cannot blame them for that, and it has made them into the footballing giant in terms of finance. They are one of the richest clubs in the world because of this global financial empire that they've built with all of this merchandise, i.e. the beach towels, the chairs, the shirts, the hats, the duvet covers, whatever. And that's one of the worst things about Manchester United, is you see it everywhere. I live in southwest England in a county called Devon, and you still see Manchester United shirts worn by either locals or holiday makers that come down for their annual holiday, and you think, piss off. Or I do anyway. But would Manchester United be successful without the finances? I don't think so. But would they also be successful without their long-term manager, Sir Alex Ferguson? Now, Fergie, as he's known in the press, could probably run for, king of the world, and he would get it. The man is that popular. But not with me. He is one of the most arrogant, stuck-up, irritating bastards that this world has ever produced. Yes, some might say he's earned his accolades, he's earned his knighthood. Yes, that may well be the case. But every year, and I mean every year, he has used his so-called football influence to sway a match or sway a referee's decision here nor there. Their football ground, Old Trafford in Manchester, is sort of like a fortress, and in every home game you expect something to go down, or you expect a decision to go their way when it shouldn't do. They played Tottenham Hotspur, which is a London club, a few years back, and Tottenham quite clearly scored a goal. It went over the line, and at the time Manchester United's keeper, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Roy Carroll actually saying that, he scooped it, quite clearly went over the line, he scooped the ball out, but the referee did not give the goal. And I think this happened on 2 occasions as well. And A, where's the sportsmanship? B, where is the goal line technology? C, you'd expect anyone like Manchester United and Alex Ferguson to actually say that, yes, that was a goal. They're good enough, Manchester United, without all of the cheating going on. And I mean cheating. It's a well-known fact that in the last say 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, that the phenomenon of diving in the penalty area to get a penalty now and again has grown and grown and grown. Now, Manchester United players, I would have to say, starting with Cristiano Ronaldo, who's now a Real Madrid player. And it's not just Man United players. Every team has a player that dives in the penalty area. But Ronaldo started it. You get these magicians with the ball who can do things that most of us can only dream of. And they spin around with the ball. It looks like the ball is glued to the feet. These players are that good. And they get into the penalty area, and instead of either trying to pass to a teammate or shoot for a goal, they fall over for no reason. These players could probably dribble with their arse to get it in the back of the net. This is how good these players are. But yet they trip over their own feet on purpose to make it look good. They get down in the penalty area, and the first thing they do when they land is not, "Oh, my head." The first thing they do is immediately turn and face the referee and go, "Ref! He tripped me up, the bastard! Send him off! It's a penalty!" And 9 times out of 10, a referee will give a decision Manchester United's way, especially if it's at their home ground, Old Trafford, and especially if the referee's name is Howard Webb. Now, Howard Webb is a respected referee in the world of football, or the world of soccer if you're watching this in a different country. He refereed the latest World Cup final between Spain and Holland in 2010. And 9 times out of 10, he gives a good match. He gives a good decision. But it has been joked on social networking sites that Howard Webb is the 12th man at a Manchester United game. But it goes the other way as well. One of the worst things, and this is Manchester United, I think, were the first team to actually do this. When a refereeing decision doesn't go their way, in other words, they get a player sent off or they get a penalty awarded against them for whatever reason, players of Manchester United swooped on the referee to try and influence the referee to not give the decision or to reverse the decision altogether. In other words, to give the free kick or decision to Manchester United or whatever. They were the first team, in my opinion, to do that. One of the worst players to actually do this was, at the time, Manchester United's right back, Gary Neville. Gary Neville is an ex-footballer. He's had to retire due to either injury or, he's just got too old just recently. And the worst thing about Gary Neville was, no matter how minor the decision was against Manchester United, he would go and complain to the referee. 90% of the time, Gary Neville was not the captain of Manchester United. And this is what's wrong with football. Another thing that's wrong with football today. In the sport of rugby union, when a foul happens or whatever, the referee of the match calls over the captain of one team and the captain of another, and both captains are spoken to by the referee. The referee actually has a small microphone to talk to both teams. So say like in a scrum or whatever, you're told to keep back to stop from being offside, and if anything, it's made the sport better. In football, this has yet to happen with referees with microphones. The only player that should be allowed to talk to a referee is the captain or the goalkeeper of each team. If your goalkeeper is the captain of your team, then more the better. But Manchester United players, including Gary Neville, including Rio Ferdinand, and at the time including their captain Roy Keane, swooped on the referee, including Paul Scholes as well, who's recently made a return, all swoop on the referee. They, 9 times out of 10, try to influence decision their way. And it just gets up my nose, the arrogance of these players to say, oh, you've given a decision against us, that's not right, we're home, we're in our own stadium, how dare you give a decision against us, how dare you send our player off, how dare you give us a yellow card. And it's the absolute arrogance that pisses me off. It's like, and another thing, when footballers foul, it's not just Manchester United, but I will use them as an example. Say like if Gary Neville or Rio Ferdinand or another Manchester United player makes a bad tackle and either gets a yellow card or a red card, or even just a normal foul and there's no card given. 90% of the time a card should be given, but it's not. If a card is given, no matter what colour it is, the footballer in question will go, what did I do? What did I do? Tell me what I did. I didn't do anything wrong. A good example of this just recently is John Terry in the Champions League semi-final, where he actually took out a player of the opposing team and he got sent off for it, and he's like, me? I'm an angel. Fuck off, are you? And fuck off the player that does that as well. But it's not just that. It's, as I say, the decisions that don't go... Sorry, the decisions that go Man United's way. If a player commits a foul, like a drop kick to the back of the shin or something like that, 2-footed tackle to the back of the shin, and they don't even get booked for it, and later on, or they get sent, they only get a yellow card when they should get a red, and later on that player scores the goal in a match when he shouldn't have been on the pitch in the first place. Where the penalties aren't given against Manchester United at Old Trafford, they should be given, and they're not given, because 9 times out of 10 Howard Webb or whoever's refereeing the match at the time gets a little thing in their head saying, hang on a minute, if I don't give this penalty, or if I don't give things Manchester United's way, I won't get out of this stadium without injury. It's as if they're afraid to make the right decision. As you can tell, I am not a Manchester United fan. I fucking hate them. A lot of people watching this will say, well, surely it's a little bit of jealousy creeping in. And to a very small certain degree, you're probably right. They've won X amount of Premier League trophies. They've won X amount of FA Cups. They're 2-time Champions League winners, which is the new name for the European Cup. And to a certain degree, it is a tiny bit of jealousy. But it is the unfair advantages, like I've just been talking to you about, that they get just because they're Manchester United. And as I say, Alex Ferguson is just as bad, if not 10 fucking times worse. Due to his son, or as a manager of another team, or in the lower leagues, or something like that, getting a comment from the BBC or something, he stopped talking to the BBC after matches, and he would send his assistant manager or one of his coaches out to speak to the BBC. Arrogance. I'm not talking to you. You fucking said something bad against my son, or you said something bad against me. Fuck you! You're a manager of the biggest club in the world. You come out, you talk to the fucking press. Oh, should have been a penalty. Yeah. And he's always chewing that fucking gum. the amount of times I'd want to slap the back of his head really hard or punch him in the face and say, stop behaving like a whinging whinge bag and fuck off. He hinted at retirement at the end of the 2003 season. The cunt's still here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fucking years. 10 extra fucking years. Piss off, you old bastard. Give someone else a chance. Give another team a chance. Give someone a fucking chance. Oh, I'm going to stay here fucking forever managing this bastard club. With the gum. I'd take that gum, shove it in his eye, fucking poke it in as far as I fucking could, slap him, kick him in the bollocks, and fucking chop his head off. Fuck off, you arrogant, old, Scottish bastard! And the worst culprit, to change the subject to the players again, the worst culprit now is their star player, England's Wayne Rooney. Now, the verbal tirade I've just gone over with Alex Ferguson, you more or less get if a decision doesn't go the way of either Wayne Rooney or Manchester United. If Rooney commits a foul and gets a booking for it, the referee shows the card and immediately you get a mouthful of verbal abuse out of Wayne Rooney, like a "You're right." And for lip readers in the crowd, and most Manchester United games are televised, either on Sky or Champions League or ITV, Channel 5, Europa League, whatever. And lip readers or people that could quite clearly see what he's saying, Wayne Rooney is one of the biggest foul-mouthed, undereducated thugs in the world. He is also one of the biggest role models for kids, both Manchester United fans and non-Manchester United fans alike. He is England's star player, and when you're England's star player, star striker, star player, whatever, you are looked up to by millions of kids that live in this country. And when you get a booking or whatever, you just walk away and continue your match. The red mist that appears in Wayne Rooney and in front of his eyes or in his head, whatever the term is not good for A, his image, B, the image that he portrays to these kids that look up to him. And it also gives his younger teammates, because let's be honest about it, Wayne Rooney is not the youngest player in the Manchester United squad anymore. He is looked up to by the younger players of the team, who then thought, yeah, I can do that now. I can start swearing at the referee. I can now go, piss off, ref, you've made the wrong decision there. And like John Terry earlier, what I talked about, when he commits a very, very bad foul or he gets sent off for whatever, the red mist or whatever, he's less than ideal in terms of role model status. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Manchester United are one of the biggest clubs in the world. They don't need to use their intimidation. They don't need to use their status as one of the biggest clubs in the world to influence decisions. They have an excellent youth training program, which is where they keep winning trophies. They bring up players from about this height to normal height, and they do that year after year after year, which is one of the reasons why they're so successful. Other teams have to buy out from abroad. They have to go there to get somebody. They have to go here to get somebody. Manchester United just keep bringing them up. Yes, they buy the odd player from this club. Yes, they buy the odd player from that club. But they don't need to. They don't need to cheat. They don't need to influence. They are good enough without it. But it makes me wonder, would Manchester United be as successful if it wasn't for A, the global branding, B, the influential manager, and I'd use the term influential in more ways than one, and C, their cheating, their arrogance and their intimidation? Would they be as successful? In this Moaning Show's show presenter's opinion, no, they wouldn't, which is why they continue to do it. Other teams recently have begun to catch on to the fact that Manchester United have been X-time champions because of these facts. Ironically enough, this season they got knocked out of the Champions League fairly quickly before the quarter-final stage, and the rest of the footballing country who weren't Manchester United fans laughed at them, with justification as well. We get Manchester United thrown down our throats every week, say, oh, Manchester United are the best team in the world. At the time when they got knocked out of the Champions League, no, they weren't. And going back to Ferguson for a sec, is when he tries to influence either referee decisions or press thoughts about the club and him before a match, you know, by saying in the press that just recently the midfielder Ashley Young, who they brought in this year, got caught diving 2 Premier League matches in a row, and he basically said in the press, well, you shouldn't be doing that, Ashley, but you can bet in behind closed doors in the dressing room, just keep doing what you're doing, son, we'll get there, I'll sort you out. But one good thing about Alex Ferguson, he is very good at protecting his players. In 1998 World Cup quarter-finals, I think it was, England lost to Argentina and David Beckham got sent off. At the time, he played for Manchester United. There were burning effigies of David Beckham outside even Old Trafford. And Alex Ferguson was able to protect Mr. Beckham for the longest possible time, and grew him into the man and the player we know today. The man that will probably be the first knight of Prince William when William eventually rises to the throne. Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it was the World Cup in 2006. Might have been European Championship of 2008. I can't quite remember. Where England were playing Portugal. Wayne Rooney was on a yellow card. Cristiano Ronaldo dived in front of Wayne Rooney, or got Wayne Rooney to push him or something like that, and he winked at his fellow players, but the cameras caught it. He was the most hated man in English football, was Cristiano Ronaldo, yet Alex Ferguson and Manchester United were able to protect him. Now look where Ronaldo is. He was an £85 million purchase to Real Madrid, and he's now the best player in Spain, or the second best player in Spain. He is now the second best player in the world after Lionel Messi of Barcelona. What I'm trying to say is, for all of the bad qualities of Ferguson, yes, his management style does lead to championships. It leads to protecting players that are bad in the public eye. I basically surprised myself there for actually saying something good about Ferguson and United. I hope you understand why I hate Manchester United and Alex Ferguson. What do you think about the club? What do you think about Ferguson the man, Ferguson the manager? Yes, I'm going to get some comments from Manchester United fans in the family, but I'm also going to get some comments saying that, you know, cut the team and the manager some slack. I just have. But in terms of the arrogance and the intimidation factor that both Ferguson and Manchester United bring, as I keep saying, they don't need to. They'd be just as good. They'd be better, in fact, if they didn't use these underhand tactics to win matches, win trophies, get decisions. So I thank you very much for watching. I apologise about the length of the video, but as I said at the start of it, I was going to get my point across, and I believe I have. Thank you for watching. Any comments in the comment box? Facebook, Twitter, all links are at the bottom of the screen, so in the video description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for more moaning.